going. Maybe we are.
Southern Fried and nationwide, so hang on to your seat. Look around, here's what I found. I guess you'll never know what you'll see on the Southern Fried Podcast Show. Yeehaw.
Yeehaw.
Yeehaw. Hello, Rob. Hello, everybody. Hope everybody is having a glorious Friday.
Yes.
We started out the morning with our morning show, and now we're back. We're out on the front porch now, though. We're on the front porch talking. How's your day been? Oh, yeah. How's your day been?
Hot and humid, just like I called it this morning when I was doing the weather.
I ran into a guy today. He was in a full sweat, and he was talking about how humid it was and everything. He's a big old boy like us, and he's not liking it. But anyway, before we get started tonight into our talk, I right before we came on live, I saw that some folks that are dear to me, their mom passed away. She'd been sick, so I just want to say my condolences if they're listening in. We won't say a name just because I haven't approved that, but just I want them to know that we grieve with you. Sweet lady, went to church with for a long time. Great sense of humor. Loved her kids and grandkids, and we'll see her again in heaven one day. So I just I really. It's just hard to see those kind of things come across. There's that separation we have when, from when someone goes on. I heard it this way, Rob, and we'll move on. But losing a loved one that they're headed to heaven, it's kind of like a ship. You stand and watch somebody depart on a ship, and you watch them as long as you can. That ship gets a little dimmer, and it goes around the curvature of the earth, and you can't see them no more. But when we can't see them anymore, there's a whole nother group of people on the other shore. They're coming into view with them, and they're overjoyed. And it's one day we'll all make that journey. All of us believers will make that journey, and there'll be a crowd on one side that's grieving. There'll be a crowd on the other side that's cheering. And so, but our hearts are grieving with you. Our thoughts and prayers are with you, and we love you. So anyway, I did post on Facebook, and there's really no words you can say, but we do want to say we're thinking about you. All right, Rob.
Well, everybody, welcome to our premiere of Front Porch Talkin Live.
Yeah, one of our the Cornbread Nation.
Had all of our Cornbread Nation folks, all of our breadheads out there. Come on.
I love it. If you are a follower of the show, you are a part of Cornbread Nation, and that would be the no sugar kind.
Yeah.
No sugar in the cornbread. Breadheads.
Plenty of butter.
Robert, we were just talking before we came on the air. We got a store that's fixing to go up, and we're got to put some. It'll be ongoing, but finishing touches on the launch, and we'll have all those things that Mama said, and Front Porch Talkin, and Cornbread Nation. All those things will be on merchandise, and anything that you purchase will just be a help to the program, keep us on the air, and we appreciate you. But you don't have to, but we appreciate you if you do that. But people like to generally help and get something for that, and so that'll be an opportunity to do that.
And be some really cool stuff if we put it out.
Oh yeah, we've put a lot of thought in it, a lot of work, along with Chris. He's done a lot of the background stuff, as we've said, and we just sling ideas and we get back and forth until we're all happy with it. So. It's kind of like being in a band. You have a song, and somebody brings a song idea to the band, and the band says, well, I like this, but I don't like that, and well, let's make this different, and everybody gets a piece of it, and you come out with something that everybody likes, but the original idea was a Dean idea, but it's changes because you just
Yeah.
think of better ways to present it, and so believe it or not, Robert, that what you just showed, that the skillet with the cornbread, and we have had so many different iterations of that. I mean, there has been a lot of give and take on that. We had some we hated, we just didn't
Yeah.
like them. It just didn't look right, and we kind of knew what we wanted, but we didn't know how to get there. Chris, just go back. He's the mad scientist. You know, he goes back in the laboratory. He gets to work in, and he's something comes out of all that stuff he does, and then he comes back and say, "Okay, guys, what about this?" And we're like, "Oh, it's getting
Mhm.
there." So he goes back in the laboratory, he does some more. We give him a couple ideas, and then all of a sudden he'll sling out about 12 or 14 different mad scientist creations, and we're like, "Hey, that's great, yeah."
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
he's
Which
worked
one?
he's worked
All
hours
of
to
them.
get one of us to say that.
And I don't know how to do that stuff. So, and I tell him, we was working on stuff today, and I noticed the thing, and I told him about it, and I said, "Now look, don't think I'm being critical at all. You're doing stuff I can't do." And just as a thought, this is just a thought, and I'm gonna make sure I don't offend him. 'Cause I don't know. I mean, he's my brother-in-law, and he's ugly, but I still love him. I wouldn't hurt his feelings for nothing.
Oh no, 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 wouldn't do that at all.
But
So
he really works hard on this stuff, and good Lord love him. I can't do it. You know, but it's like my granddaddy used to tell me: ugly help is better than no help.
well,
So let's throw that out there.
that's one way to look at it. But boy, family's tough on family,
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah.
married
Uh,
in or however it be. Well, he said he's my brother. It may be my brother-in-law, but he's my brother,
yeah.
and they rough. I used to
Oh,
go to school. I won't say their name. I used to go to school with these old boys, and one of the brothers was the same age, was in the same school grade, and his brother was several years older. Probably he was upper grade high school when we were in. Well, at that time we called junior high. I didn't have that middle school thing, and they would wrestle and fight, and they were into martial arts and stuff. And their poor old mom, I think their parents were divorced. Their poor old mom, she'd get so mad at them. There'd be holes in the walls where they would slam each other in the walls and practicing their Bruce Lee moves and all that. And I felt so sorry for her. But they had some pretty hard encounters. Little
yeah.
brother was smaller, but he come hard. And so you kind of grow up like that. You
Ugh,
some days you're on top of the pile, some days you're on the bottom.
yes. Yeah. And being on the bottom of the pile ain't no fun.
No,
You start learning tricks quick. Let me tell you something. If I had a choice between a fight, I'd rather fight the older brother than the younger brother any day of the week. You know,
and why is
Mm.
that?
Huh?
Why is that?
Well, the younger brother's already learned all the tricks to beat his older brother usually, and the older brother ain't had nobody to teach him that. So you got the opportunity to teach him a lesson. Just saying, just throwing it out there. And let me throw another one out there. If you had the option between fighting the biggest guy in the room and fighting the littlest guy in the room, always fight the biggest guy. Always. Oh, why, you ask? Because if you jump on the biggest guy in the room and he whoops you, they'll say, that sucker's just crazy. He's just crazy. He knew he was going to do that. But you jump on the littlest guy in the room and get your butt whooped, you ain't ever going to hear the end of that.
Well, and the little one might be faster. The bigger one might be a
Yeah.
plotter.
Mhm.
We worked with a guy. I don't think Robert. I don't think you were there around the time this old boy was there. I don't think. And he was. I. They were people that he was. He was as kind hearted as anybody'd ever meet, and he didn't
Yeah.
like fighting or anything. But people at work, even in his 40s, they would, he's passed away now. I think it was cancer, but even in his 40s, people would pick at him and try to get him to show his speed. And I witnessed it one day. We were all in a circle around him, and his brother, his older brother had worked, had been a member at one point of Bruce Lee's schools. So he worked directly with Bruce Lee. Well, he taught the guy we worked with, or I worked with. And one day they were picking at him and saying, "Oh, he's an old man now. He ain't fast." And next thing I know, it was really just a blur. And he had done a kick at each of our faces that, I'll be honest, Rob, I felt he didn't touch me, but there couldn't have been much room in between the foot and the face. And he went by each one of us before any of us could even move. And some of those guys just turned around and said, "I'm out." There's a story about him. There's a club in town, and he was from overseas. He was a refugee and some people people imbibing and can be mouthy and say stupid things. Some old boys jumped on him at a club that another friend took him to, and they were 4 or 5 of them. And this friend said, I was going to step in there and take them on, protect my friend. And he said, before I could even move, this guy had laid them out. I mean, every one of them. But then he went and got him, and he got him up, patting him on the back, saying, "Hey, it'll be all right." He put them in the car, helped get their seatbelts on, told them to have a nice night. I mean, they're just woozy, because he just flat laid them out. He was very young then, probably in his 20s, and they didn't know what hit him. And he said, "I just stood there with my mouth open." He said, I didn't move an inch. He said the guy had already done it, was picking them up, putting them in the car, told them to have a nice night, be careful going home.
Wow.
Robert, you don't mess with a guy like that.
Mess with. That's the ones you don't want to mess with.
Now we're not encouraging fighting. I'm just telling you, he didn't have a choice. They jumped on him.
And see, that's why you don't pick on the little ones.
What was that thing from that movie or whatever? You're messing with the wrong guy.
Yes. Say hello to my little friend.
But yeah,
I've always thought that was be the scariest thing in the world, to be in a bar and have somebody says, "I was planning on whooping your behind, but I'm just going to let my little buddy here do it." That's terrifying. That's a fight you can't lose. You can't lose that fight if you've got friends. If anybody knows you, if they don't know you and you lose that fight, that's different. But if they know you, if you saw me. Let's throw this out there. If you saw me get my honey whoop, say, by somebody that's barely 5 foot tall, has a 22-inch waist, his arms are about this big around, and I get whooped, how long am I going to hear about this?
Well, it'll never stop. That would be ongoing conversation for the rest of our born days. After we found out after we made sure you were okay.
Yeah. Okay.
Well, except your pride. Except your pride.
Yeah, well, no, the pride is never coming back.
Oh man.
I mean, there's just some things you never outlive. And see, I've seen this happen. Sorry, I'm not trying to be rude, but give me just a minute. A sec. Okay. And I've seen this happen. There was a Marine that hung out with us, and he was a pretty good sized fella. And we went to, back in these days, I did imbibe some. And we had a friend of ours that was a Navy guy, and I'm not calling any names, but he was one of those that was about, a little over 5 foot tall and about as big around as a number 2 pencil. His arms and legs looked like straws, and this particular Marine just took an immense amount of pleasure in tormenting him. And finally, one night, he earned a nickname. The Marine went by and dumped a beer in his lap. And he stood up and told him, says, I've had about enough of you. If you mess with me one more time, I'm going to whoop you. And the Marine just laughed and walked off. He went to the bathroom, cleaned himself up, came back, sat down. Marine walked by, dumped a beer on his head. And he got up. And I ain't never seen nobody take a butt whooping like he did. That little guy whooped him from one end of that place to the other. And finally, the Marine just threw his hands up and said, whoa, 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 stop. Just stop. You're not hurting me, but I can't touch you. It's not fair. I'm done. We called that kid Spaz from then on.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, you just get some people, they think by past experience or just in their own head, they think they're that tough. And they always say there's somebody out there stronger than you. You're going to run up on somebody faster, stronger, better fighter, whatever it is, you're going to run up on that person, and everybody loses sometime,
Yep.
That's why I never wanted to be involved in that. It hurt too much, and I have, you wouldn't live it down. So I de-escalated things as much as possible, I think everybody probably had a thing in school where you had to make a stand, whether it was after school, on the school bus, at the bus stop, whatever. I mean, it happened to about everybody, and you get through it.
Yeah.
And once you've dealt with it, you generally don't have too much trouble after that. People see you're not going to roll over for them, and word gets around, and people think twice about it, And it never hurts to have a lot of good friends. I had a lot of friends on the football team and a bunch of linemen. I didn't have the athletes. I had the linemen. They just grab hold of you and sit on you, They just pick you up, twirl you around. They were big old boys, so they weren't fast, but boy, they were strong.
Mm-hmm.
So,
yes.
I was that really thin guy, number 2 pencil, no muscle mass. I was a pretty good athlete, but I wasn't big or nothing. But I ran around with some people, worked with them at a part-time job, and hung out with them that were a whole lot stronger than me. And I generally didn't have any problems. Yeah. I made the stand when I needed to. In fact, one day, I don't know what it was. I don't know. People just do. Nowadays, it's getting really bad, but in our day, it was just silly stuff. And I don't know, Robert, when you went to school, if people like to throw coins, pennies, or stuff at and zing you, hit you in the head and everything. Oh, yeah. Well, I had somebody that slung one at me one day. I was walking down the hall. They're always cowards. I mean, I was way down the hall, and I think it was a quarter, and they hit me. It hurt, but it bounced off of me, and it hit the biggest offensive lineman right below the eye, and it cut him a little bit, and it stunned him a little bit, and he realized instantly what had happened, that I didn't do it, and it bounced off of me, and he looked down the hall, and all I heard was, "Get him," and they grabbed this guy up and bring him down the hall, put him up on the lockers, threaten his life and everything. And by the end, he said, well, I didn't mean to hit you. I was trying to hit old Cordell. He said, well, you hit him, but you also hit me. He said, so, you're not going to be doing anything silly like that again. There was a bunch of expletives and things thrown in. And at the very end, he goes, oh, and by the way, you leave Cordell alone too. So I never had another problem. It was kind of a fluke.
I never enjoyed doing that kind of stuff. The kind of stuff I like to do was I'd take a quarter and a little bit of super glue and right in the middle of the hallway. That was my kind.
Get it up.
Yeah. They go by and kick it or try to pick it up, and they're stomping it with their boot, whatever. Yeah, that worked real fine until the principal caught me doing it one day. So you're the one that's been gluing these quarters down to the floor. Sorry. No, you're not.
Robert, are you telling me the guy that stuck the pins in the teacher's chair?
No. Nope, that was not me. I didn't do that.
You
Nope,
didn't
I
do
was
that?
not that kind of guy. I got too many of my teachers that are still around, and I go to church with a couple of them. And nope, that wasn't me. Don't you try to put that on me. No, sir. I'm not taking that. If I did do it, I ain't admitting to it. How about that?
You
And
know,
I normally will admit to it, but if I did do it,
I really never got in trouble in school much. I was real shy, introvert, and
yeah, me too.
I don't believe that, but so I got in trouble once. What it was is this girl, this guy. It was pouring down rain, and so this guy he was holding the door shut so she couldn't get inside the school, and she's just drenched. So I seen it, and I just reacted,
Yeah.
And I ran down the hall and I pushed him out the door and got her in, and then I shut the door and held him out there. And wouldn't you know it, the vice
That's when
principal
you got
comes around the corner. He catches me. Well, the girl did tell him that what I had done was, helping her, but because I did hold the door, so like we both got in trouble. Like, so we're both going to get a paddling and all that. So, hey, my sister says, good evening, fellas. Good evening to you, Miss Tammy. Glad to hear from you. Throw that up on the screen there. We appreciate that. But so I got the paddling, and we were going to get, I think it was like towards the end of the day. So he didn't show up the next day. Like, he skipped out on the paddling. I got the paddling. But when I got the paddling, it was just 3 hits. They don't even do that stuff, I don't think, anymore. But they paddled. Well, the guy said, I won't say his name. I don't even know if he's still alive. But he said, now, Cordell, they always called you by your last name, Cordell.
Yeah.
He said, now, I got different levels of paddling. He said, that's a level 1. He said, next time you get in trouble, it'll be a level 2. And if you get in trouble again, it's going to be level 3. He said, I promise you don't want my level 3 paddling. I mean, because it really didn't even hurt at level 1. I mean, whatever he was calling level 1. Well, right about that time, one of the toughest guys in the school come walking by. And he was, I won't name him, but he was a great athlete, big physical guy. But he took medication. Sometimes he forgot to take his medication, and he was a little bit off the chain, as we say. So I think he might have been off his medication a little bit. So he comes by, and when he said that, he heard him, and he said, Cordell, don't worry about it. I've had the level 3 many times. It never hurt me. And he took off running, and the vice principal was running down the hall trying to catch up with him. I said, well, I guess I go back to class. And that was the last I heard about that. I will never forget that. I thought, man, I love you. Because, I was thinking, who wants to get a paddle and then get a speech, So I thought he was a little bit egotistical the way he was saying it, but I thought, just give me the paddle and I'll go on back. And here come this guy, Cordell, don't worry about it. I've had his level 3 many times. It don't hurt. It's no worse than level 1 or something like that. And he just takes off. And I was like, man, I love you.
The fact that he took off running says he was not telling you the truth.
Well, he might not have been, but he got me out of listening further to it. I never got another paddling. That was the one and only paddling I ever got in school. Believe it or not.
What? 1?
No, I take that back. I got 2. I did get 2. 1 by the principal, 1 by the vice principal. That's it. 2. Oh. Now we had a teacher that was going to hey, I see some of these messages on here. All right, y'all working behind the scenes over here while I'm talking. But when I was in elementary school, we had this math teacher, and when I say the typical math teacher, you get this image in your head, Yeah. The math teacher like that and the shop teacher look the same, except the math teacher didn't have all the pens in the pocket. That's the only difference. Right. So they have the same look. So anyway, we had this math test and apparently all the classes did really bad on it. So this teacher decides, I'm going to paddle every class that I have today. So I had him in the last period of the day. We had just started in that grade, started changing classes. So every grade, how many classes he had, we saw him lined up out in the hall, and he was spanking everybody. Even if they passed the test, he decided everybody was going to get a paddling. Well, all it took was for a couple of kids to call home, but all the classes but mine got the paddling. And they come down there and got on to him and said, "You're not paddling another kid." And so when we came into the class, he was mad. And he said, you're very fortunate. He said, "I have paddled every one of my math classes today," which we know, we saw it. He said, "But they won't let me paddle you guys. He said, "But I'm going to make you all stay in from recess, and you're going to sit here and work on your math quiz." And he said, "You better be thankful, because I was going to paddle your rear ends too." I thought, "Well, you pompous thing, you." And he got in a lot of trouble over that. He got in a lot of trouble. I mean, some parents come down there. I think some parents was ready to come down there and paddle him.
Yeah.
Some of the girls that did really good on the test called home and said, "We're getting paddled. We passed the test." Anyway, I'll never forget that. But I got out of that one. That would have been the third one, you know.
I had a teacher one year kick me out of her room and said, "I don't want to see you back in here." So I went to the principal's office, and he said, "Well, just go sit in the lunchroom." I said, "Okay." The next day came, I went back to the principal's office. He said, "What are you doing here?" She said, "She didn't want to see me back. You want to go back to the lunchroom?" And he kind of, okay.
I got a paddling once for not turning my homework in fast enough. Makes no sense, right? So I'll admit that I could have had my papers in better order. They were just all kind of in my backpack, you know. I just throwed them in there, and so it was homework. It was turned in the first thing. Well, I'm looking through there and I'm going through my stuff, and she said, "You got like 30 seconds. You don't find it, you're getting a paddling." I said, "I got it. I did my work." So she gave me 30 seconds, said stop. And so took me to the principal, and I got a paddling. I came back, walked right in, found it, handed it to her. She said, "Well, you got a paddling for not finding it fast enough." I think I told my daddy about that one, and that stopped all that.
You know, there are times when children deserve what they get, you know, and it's a lesson. But that's one of those times where, no. See, I would get upset for my child getting for something like that. If they came home and said, "Well, they didn't handle it in fast enough." Yeah, they probably should have had it more organized. But is that what you need to paddle somebody over? You know, I remember some good whoopings I got, you know, in elementary school for fighting. It was mainly me and one other guy. We were about the same size. We had about the same attitude, you know, and we didn't like each other. So almost every day at recess, we wound up in a fight. And the principal, she'd just wear us out. You know, "Y'all gonna quit this." And the very next day, our butts would still be sore, you know, and we'd be out there doing it again. I didn't say we were smart. We were ornery.
I'll tell you who you didn't want the paddling from, and that was the gym teacher. A lot of times, gym teacher, they had to teach one class to stay, you know, all in because you had to teach a little bit, not just do,
Right.
you know, PE or football. I think it was a football coach. And this particular coach, he had the biggest forearms, and he would lift you up off the ground. And if you wasn't careful, your head would be hitting off the wall. So the paddling, what hurt you, it was your head hitting the brick wall.
Wow.
That was like a twofer. You know, you got it on both ends. You got your rear end lit up, and then your head got hit in the brick wall or the block
Hit
wall.
my head on the brick wall. I'm gonna stick my finger up your nostril. Okay, you gonna put me down. You ain't gonna pick me up because I'm gonna see how deep I can get that finger right up that nostril. And I promise you, you stick your finger far enough up somebody's nostril, they won't pick you up again. Don't ask me how I know that.
Oh man, you imagine? I was just thinking, you know, all these teachers are getting out of the profession and stuff. It's really hard now in some cases because they're not getting any discipline at home. Some of them, and they come to school and they've got attitudes, and they're not afraid of it. They go to juvie, they don't care. In school,
Yeah.
out of school suspension, whatever, they don't care. It's just a continual cycle of acting out, and it's a shame. You wish you could have caught those kids before they got messed up. I was talking to a lady today. She's been being a foster parent, and she's just about had all she can take. It's a troubled kid, and she's doing all she can, but she's at the age where it's just become too much, and you can't you can't discipline them like you can your kids. So it's way different. And she loves the little girl, but she said I've just she's wore out, basically just wore out, and it's affecting her other grandkids and stuff. And she said somebody else is just going to have to do it. I can't do it no more.
Well, I really and truly think that you and I belong to the last generation of fun kids. Yes, we annoyed the teachers. That was part of our job to annoy them. But we tried to do it in a way to where we would not get in trouble for it, hopefully.
I didn't always work.
Usually, if you could make a teacher laugh, you had it. You had it beat if you could make them laugh. It's like a police officer. You make him laugh, you might beat that ticket, or he might be laughing because he's going to write you a ticket anyway. And that could happen with the teachers too. But generally, if you could make them laugh, you were okay. Now, you can't do it a lot. It'll work once a day per class.
Let me ask you a question. When you're in high school, I never did, but did y'all have a smoking area in high school?
Yes.
Where the kids we did too. It seems so funny now. But they had the smoking area and all these high schoolers out there smoking,
Oh no. For our smoking area, you had to bring a permission slip from your parents.
Oh, really?
Yes.
I don't know how it worked. Maybe they did too, but I don't know. It wouldn't have mattered if I wanted to or not. My permission slip would have been heck no. And then I'd have got a spanking for even asking, But right. And then when we in our work career, I mean, think about it. All these companies, they had smoking areas. That's all gone. There's tobacco-free campuses now. How things have changed.
And for smokers, that's horrible.
12 hours.
12-hour shift. Oh.
And no smoke. And poor old coworkers got to deal with you being ornery and mad and frustrated and jonesing for a smoke.
Where there's a will, there's a way. I'm just saying.
Well, there's a lot of them done that. We've had some weird things happen, over the years. But yeah, it's just funny to see how things have changed. And going and think about going to restaurants and people smoking inside the restaurant.
Mm-hmm.
Down at your local meat and three, and there's somebody smoke kind of going through the restaurant. I mean, Waffle House was a whole different game back a few years ago.
I got to tell you my Waffle House story. Right. I can dimly remember this. Okay, my daddy was a very large guy. He was 6'4", buff, Marine, tough. And my daddy spoke. You're supposed to listen right then. Jump.
Oh yeah.
Says, let's go. You're supposed to be in there. We stopped at a Waffle House we were driving up to North Georgia from South Georgia, driving up to Rossville. And, my dad, one of my big things was I've drank coffee my whole life. And we stopped at the Waffle House and I got me a cup of coffee. And I was big stuff. And I had my cream and sugar in it, but it was hot. So I'm slurping it out of a spoon. I'm getting this up in the spoon and blowing on it. And my dad's wanting to hurry up and get on the road. And we had to share. It was crowded because it had come up a storm and we were sharing a booth with a state trooper. And I'm just my coffee.
And I
And my
bet he
dad,
loved that.
and my dad said, I've got to run to the restroom. Robert, hurry up, drink that coffee so we can go. And the state trooper said, go on to the restroom. I'll watch him. It's fine. So Dad left me with the state trooper and ran off to the restroom, and I kept right on. And my dad come back and said, boy, are you going to hurry up and drink that coffee? And I looked him dead in the eye and said, cool it, turkey. If my dad said his face turned about 6 shades of red. He's like, he almost hulked out. And the state trooper's like, he's fixed to grab me up, wear me out. The state trooper said, don't you do it. I put him up to it. Don't you do it. Don't you do it.
Oh, man.
I don't know if he actually put me up to it or not. I don't remember that part, but I do remember telling my dad, cool it, turkey.
You know, I've traveled quite a bit, and I like Waffle House. I really do. But it is entertainment. I mean, I've never been to one traveling that there wasn't something kind of, and I have to throw my Denny's in there too. There's something about it. I mean, I've seen fights between the workers. I've seen, entertainment on the floor, people dancing, and I was down there in Cordele, and I was by myself, and this guy's or this lady worked in there. Her boyfriend come up there, and I think he'd probably been drinking. Well, he got in his car and he tore out of there, showing out. Well, then the police are going down the road to get him, and she's in there screaming, "I told him not to act like a fool."
I know that Waffle House. It's right beside that old missile they've got there in Cordele. I know where that Waffle House is.
It's wild.
I always had to stop there because they had the rocket. When I was a kid, we had to stop there every time. I know exactly where that Waffle House is. And yes,
Wild.
Cordele is a strange place. I love it, but it's strange.
We stopped in one in Virginia, as me and my wife, and it was the middle of the night. We just wanted to grab something quick, and we had gotten a motel room. We was just going to lay down for 4 or 5 hours and get up and come on home. It's the middle of winter, and we walked in. And all the windows are like iced over. We walked in, and the air's blowing, but it's like the air conditioning's on. There's no heat. And I don't know if it was out or what, but I don't know why the fans were blowing. So like we sit down at a table and like we're shaking, got our hands around the coffee, trying to warm our hands up. And I said, I told the waitress, I said, yeah, y'all got it kind of cool in here, don't you? She says, yeah, we like it. Why? I mean,
They
it was
wasn't
like,
one of us.
no, they wasn't one of us. It was like a deep freezer, man. I was like, and poor Lynn, she was freezing. That was a fast meal that night. We got out of there. We couldn't handle it.
I believe I could have looked at them and said, hey, what are y'all, Eskimos? If y'all like this, I might go back to Alaska or something up in somewhere.
This weird stuff happens in the middle of the night. I was in Eden, Oklahoma, very historic little western town. Some of the famous cowboys, outlaws, and stuff had come through there. And I had a room the next night. And if I could have got in touch with the guy, I would have had a room paid for. Then it was paid for by the church, but I didn't get in touch with him until the next day. I got in town a little bit early because I was coming from another place, and I had a little bit of time in between. I was just going to do some work there in the town. It was beautiful. It was a neat little town. But I got out there and I found a couple of motels side by side. I mean, they shared the parking lot. They looked nice. I mean, they were decent and everything. And there wasn't hardly car wanted, either one of them. And, I don't mind, paying my due, but you can kind of haggle a little bit and get a little deal sometimes. So it's the middle of the week. It's not a weekend or nothing. It's obvious they're not going to run out of rooms. So I went to the first guy and I said, Hey, what's the best deal you got on a room tonight? And so he throws me this ridiculous price. And I said, that's the best you can do? And he said, yeah, that's it. No cheaper. I said, hey, listen, I said, I bet if I walk next door, that hotel will give me a discount. Why don't you just give me one and I'll stay here? I mean, the room, you're going to lose money if you don't, you make some money on it. It's a loss. I'm not asking
Right.
for it to give it away. I just like a little discount. I mean, you're charging me this full price, and it's like a Monday night or Tuesday, something like that. I don't remember what it was. And he said, "No, go to the other hotel." I said, "Okay." Walked next door. Sure enough, walked in there, got it for half price.
Yeah.
What a dummy! What a dummy!
Yeah.
I had that happen a few times, man. Where you kind of know who you're working with when you walk in. I always get this image though of planes, trains, and automobiles, and the car's already been burnt, and they walk in there, and he's trying to give him a really nice watch and like I don't know, $14 or something for the room, and he does it. He's like thinking, and then John Candy says, "How about a nice Casio?" And he has like $2, and he said, "I think not." And so John Candy's sitting out in the car, freezing in the snow, and he feels sorry for him and tells him to come in. I haven't had to haggle that bad, but I have gotten a little bit better deal.
That movie had one of the best lines ever in it. Where's your hand? When they ended up sharing the bed, where's your hand? Between two pillows. Those aren't pillows.
They were great together. They really
were.
were. That was a really good movie.
It was.
I was a John Candy fan.
I don't think they set a garbage can on fire in that movie. But I heard that there was one set on fire at your school.
My sister's over here getting off the chain. I'm gonna have to.
Oh, she knows those.
She's over here dropping. She's over here dropping things in the chat.
What? No.
Well, I'll tell you the story.
Were you cold?
No, me and a guy named Joy. I won't give his last name. We were. He brought a lighter into school one day, and we was in a class we hated, math. So we're goofing off, and he was burning some of the rubber off the table, and I don't know. I got this really stupid, I thought funny idea. I wasn't intending nothing bad. I was thinking of making the can smoke, like a smoke come out. Smoke didn't come out, flames come out. I had to pull the can outside. I didn't think about the ramifications of that until, when they explained it to me. But I got to say, this is the absolute truth on that. Yeah, I love you too, sister. Just remember, this works both ways. But the principal, the vice principal, wanted to hang me out to dry. When I say hang me out to dry, the same guy who told me he had 3 levels of power in his paddle.
Right.
Same guy. He wanted to hang me out to dry. Well, the principal said, "No, Dave's a good kid. You just made a mistake. It'll never happen again. We're going to give him a paddling and send him back to class." And they got into an argument. This guy went ballistic on the principal, like, "You can't do that." And he stood up and he got in his face and he said, "Who are you telling who I can't? Who's the principal here, buddy?" He said, "You might be a principal one day, but you're not today." He said, "You take you and your little attitude out the door. I'll handle this." And we sit and we had a conversation about it. And, he realized I wasn't trying to do anything really bad. Just a bad decision. Gave me a paddling, never had another trouble. It was just dumb, but I did. He was a wise guy, he really was.
You don't, a lot of times with kids, you don't have to even really give them much of a paddling. You just talk to them and let them explain, figure out what's going on, and then go from there. You know? But I always took my paddlings because I figured whether I deserved it or not. Because I figured I'd done enough stuff that I hadn't got caught doing that I might as well just go ahead and take it. Just pretend like I had it coming anyway. because there was generally enough stuff that I did wrong that I got away with that I had some coming.
So
did you ever go home and tell your parents you got a
well,
pattern?
I'm going to tell you about the backstory to that. So I got put in the corner and by myself. I was kind of separated from all the other kids, and my buddy Joy, he never got in trouble because he didn't get caught doing any of the stuff he was doing. It was just me. So my teacher, I guess I just needed a challenge. And she said, I just don't see you passing this class. Do the best you can, all the extra credit. And that lit a fire in me. And I passed that class, but I spent the rest of the year in the corner by myself. One day, Joey walks up and he had this bright idea. He's still acting up, and he had this head washer, and he had this idea all year long. He wanted to bust one of those long lots, they had in the school. And I said, don't do it, man. I said, just stop, man. Just go back and do your work. Leave me alone. Keep me out of it. And before I knew it, he said, I'm going to do it. Today's the day. It was like, he said, I got to match you, man. You did it. I got to match. I'm like, don't do it. And all of a sudden he throws that up right over my head, and he does it. He blows out not only one of them, but two of them. And I just put my head down and covered my head up, and all that stuff came down. And the teacher thought I did it. And all I heard was Cordell. It's like a rage. And all the girls in class stood up and said, it wasn't Cordell this time. It was Joey. And then she comes over there. She feels bad. She's helping me get all the glass and all that stuff out of my hair and all that. But I passed that class. So anyway, about the vice principal, he bided his time. He was mad about that. So no, I didn't tell anybody. I just dealt with it. And so at a certain point, you hit some absences. They call home. Well, I didn't know that. I mean, I didn't have bad absences, but I just hit a certain level. Mama let me lay out of school a couple of days more than she should, I guess. He called home, and he's going over my attendance with my dad and everything. I guess he was I caught him early. I don't know. Usually he was working, but I guess it was early enough. He hadn't left out yet, and so he's going over it. And then he said, "Oh, you know about the fire, don't you?" Payback. So he comes and tells me. He said, "Oh, I brought you in to talk to you about your attendance. Oh, by the way, I talked to your dad on the phone." Yeah. He was a little surprised to hear about that fire. You remember that fire? And so that was worse than anything, knowing, oh man, you told my dad. Dad stayed out of work that day.
Oh no.
But you know what? What I thought was going to be death. My dad, we sat and we just had a man-to-man, and he actually let me set my punishment for that. He said, I want to see you learn from this. You should have trusted me to tell me and everything. And he was more mad about that than anything. And so then I had to think, what's severe enough that he's going to let me get, set my punishment, but not so severe that I can't never leave the house for the rest of my born days. So I came up with 2 or 3 things. My dad sat and thought of it. He said, "You think that's adequate?" I said, "Yes, sir, I do." He said, "All right, then that's the way it'll be." I was shocked. Never thought he would do that. And that's what I did.
Wow.
So I punished myself.
I was never allowed to set my own punishment. Never. They knew it wasn't going to be nothing. It wouldn't be nothing good. Not for them. It'd be good for me, but not for them. What do you think ought to be punishment? I think you ought to make me go fishing every day after.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah. I'll really learn a lesson then. Let me go deer hunting.
Most kids that acted up, they didn't mind getting a paddling, but they hated, like, if you were in gym or in PE or something, they made you run like laps around the football field or up and down the football steps and all that, the stadium steps. That's the kind of stuff they hated. They didn't want to have to do that. There's a bunch of smokers anyway. They didn't want to have to be running and gagging for breath. So that was worse. They wanted the paddling. Yeah, give me the paddling. I ain't worried about that. That was just second nature to them. But having to run laps or pick up trash and around the school or do some little thing where everybody's seeing them do it, having to wash something that's what they couldn't stand that.
No, no. It's I want you to know, I heard my wife go get in the car and leave and come home. And I just heard a spoon hit the bottom of the bowl. And I know she went and got ice cream.
That's like kryptonite, man. That's like
It's not fair. I want to go get me some ice cream. She knows we in here doing this podcast, and I'm not leaving. And I got the door blocked so the cats can't come in here and terrorize me. So she can't even come in here and bring me no ice cream. And she's out there giggling and laughing about it. I can hear her. She's tapping it in a bowl right now on purpose.
Well, good. You probably deserve it. It's probably payback for something you've done, Rob.
No, I didn't deserve that. That ain't right. She's doing it again. She can hear me in here. I know she can. And she's in there tapping the bottom of that ice cream bowl. That ain't nice.
I can handle any, and I'm really better now. I mean, there's ice cream in the house now, and I haven't touched it, but that is my weakness. I can ignore the cakes and donuts and all that stuff. It's ice cream. I've always liked ice cream.
Oh, yeah.
What's your favorite? What's your favorite ice cream?
My favorite ice cream?
Yeah, flavor.
Chocolate chip cookie dough.
That's not my top 10, man.
You've got a top 10 for ice cream?
Oh, I'm sure, yeah.
Well,
absolutely. After about 5, it all goes downhill from anyway. So it's really, I'd say about 5 deep, but I could fill up.
We got to do the Southern check on this now. All right. Mint chocolate chip.
Before you do that, if my sister's still listening, tell him what my number 1 is, Tammy, because she knows my number 1. Let's see if she pops that in there. So I'm going to avoid the number 1 first. I'll start with the number 2 favorite flavor. Let's see if she's still listening. If not, I'll tell you. But number 2 for me would be strawberry. There it is. She knows me.
Okay. That's a good
number
Southern
1.
Okay, that's a good Southern one. Now, do you prefer store-bought or homemade?
Well, I'd rather have homemade, but I don't have a problem with store-bought.
Okay. Butter pecan, then strawberry. That's questionable. Well, all right. What's your next one?
I like pralines and cream.
Yeah, that's real similar to the butter pecan, but the pecan has the candy over it, right?
Yeah, yeah.
All right. What's your next one?
Probably vanilla. I could flip-flop those two, but I like vanilla.
All right. And number 5?
Oh, I'd go with Rocky Road.
Okay.
Or Moose Tracks.
That is some horrible choices, except for the first one. You don't have mint chocolate chip in there.
Oh, that's horrible right there.
Oh, what?
I don't like chocolate anyway, so.
You don't? Whoa. You don't like chocolate?
No, I can eat it, but I don't like it. I'm not a chocolate fan.
I know you're from up there in Illinois somewhere. Oh my gosh. So you don't like chocolate pie? Chocolate ice cream?
No.
Oh. Dude, I'm going to give you the pralines and cream. Okay? I'm going to give you the butter pecan because they're very similar. Okay? There's so many other options out there. Mint chocolate chip is, that is some good stuff right there. All right, but you don't like chocolate. That's fine. Chocolate chip cookie dough is definitely a top 5. All right. No. Vanilla can be number 5 depending on how good the pie is that you're serving it with, or the cake.
I could go with you on that.
Beyond that, vanilla should not be in the top 5.
Oh yeah, vanilla's great.
No. Vanilla ice cream goes on pie or cake. It's the only time that that's acceptable to be in the top 5. Now, number 5 is the ice cream that's got them Heath pieces in it. Those Heath candy bar pieces. You know what I'm talking? Toffee.
Yeah. I'm not in that either. No. No.
Oh my gosh. Or you mean to sit there and tell me if you got Neapolitan ice cream, you would eat the strawberry vanilla and leave the chocolate?
That's exactly what I do.
Your wife. That's why you're married. You get
She
all the chocolate ice cream, or she does.
she does. She takes care of me. She's all
Yeah.
good with it. It works out.
Okay. Okay.
I bet you're one of those people that like that holiday ice cream, the peppermint and all that.
Oh yeah.
Ah,
I like coffee creamer that is holiday stuff too.
oh no, yeah,
I
you
like
told me that.
peppermint. Yeah.
Not me, brother. You can have
All
it.
right. All right. Look, some people are born with good taste. Others have to develop it. You'll get there one day. You're born up north. It's just taking a little longer. What do you mean nasty? Yeah, it's nasty. You won't eat it. You won't eat chocolate ice cream. That's nasty.
She's talking about that holiday, all that stuff you're talking about. She could eat the chocolate. She don't like all that other. She knows better.
Oh my goodness. My good. Um, I'm not going to take a southern point away from our guest, but you got to celebrate the holidays. The holiday.
Yeah, she
Um,
don't like that.
mm,
She's not into that. Do you like banana splits?
no,
I'm not a big fan. I'm not a big banana fan, so I
no.
can eat it, but I'm not a big fan.
Who wants to eat? Who came up with a bright idea with doing bananas and ice cream?
I don't
Like
know.
that's going
Maybe
to make it healthier.
Elvis.
Come
I
on.
don't know.
You might as well do watermelon and ice cream.
No, no.
Oh, I'm going to be a bazillionaire. I came up with an idea for a smoothie the other day. This would be the greatest idea for a smoothie ever.
Okay, you've thrown it out there now.
Mustard and sardine.
Oh, wow.
A little milk in it. Blender.
No, Rob. No, no. That's
Thank you. I've been hollering about making a sardine smoothie for years.
That's absolutely disgusting. Come on, man.
What? We're nationwide.
Yeah,
We're
yeah,
nationwide. I just made the whole country go, ugh.
yeah. That's disgusting, man. I can't even believe you brought that up. Wow. There goes dinner. I'm glad I've already ate.
Hey, it's Front Porch Talking. We get allowed to talk about anything we want to. Tammy, what's the grossest thing you've ever had to eat? Now, I'm assuming nobody's ever made you eat a mustard and sardine smoothie. But what is next to that? What is the grossest thing that you've ever had to eat? Number one, and number two, did your brother fix it for you?
No, she would say no to the other one because I never have. I wouldn't. I don't know. She likes a lot of things I don't like, so I don't know if she's had anything that.
Turnip greens. Turnip greens?
I have to agree with you.
Oh, that is a completely and total southern dish. Turnip green. Do you like collard greens?
No, no,
Mustard greens?
no. We weren't really brought up on that stuff. we had country. I mean, country victuals, vegetables, but that wasn't part of it. I mean, beans, taters, corn, all
Okay.
that stuff, but none of that stuff. And our mom, I don't think she cared for that, so it just never became part of what we ate or anything. So no,
Good.
but I will tell you, and I'm the only guy, and the only person in my family I think that doesn't like potato salad. I mean, I can't stand that stuff.
Oh,
Yuck.
oh, don't let my wife hear you say that.
They gross
Got
me
food and
out.
ice cream to her.
Ugh, that's
She likes
disgusting.
it.
Deviled eggs, disgusting, man. I'm
Oh,
not down with it.
what about Josh?
He's pretty picky eater too. That's right. It's me and him. We both would not eat that. He might be more pickier than I am. He's pretty picky eater. Yeah, he
Well,
don't like it.
like I
You
said,
know, I don't like, man.
That's a
I don't
completely southern dish. You
I
don't
don't
get more southern than potato salad.
I don't care. I don't like it.
Oh,
I my
macaroni
son
salad.
Josh don't like mayonnaise, and I don't like mayonnaise. But when he was a kid, you go to he liked them little crystal chicks, and so one time, they never mess your order up, right? Any restaurant,
Yeah, never,
never mess your order
never.
up. Yeah. So we pulled in there, and it would always be plain. Well, they messed up and put the mayonnaise on there. And I was in a hurry, and I was trying to get somewhere, and he starts crying about it, and I'm like, "Come on, man, just wipe it off some and eat it." He wouldn't do it. He wouldn't do it. I had to turn around. I was like aggravated. I was like, "Come on, man, work with me." He wouldn't do it. He dug him heels in, and he wouldn't do it today. He don't like that stuff.
Well, Tammy has just announced that she loves potato salad,
She does. She does.
and that is a good thing. All right. So, what about coleslaw? Do you like coleslaw?
There's only one kind of coleslaw I like, and it's the KFC kind.
Okay. Now you can make it without mayonnaise.
Yeah, some people at church did that for me for a dinner, and I liked it.
Yeah. Okay.
But I do like that.
What do you eat on a sandwich if you don't like
Not
mayonnaise?
nothing. Just meat, bread.
Uh, no. Got to have a piece of cheese on there too.
I'm not a big cheese person, so now the cheese is out.
Oh my goodness. You know what my wife told me one time? She said all cheese tastes the same.
They don't all taste the same, but I don't like it.
You don't like none of it?
I can eat it if it's on something, but I'm not. It doesn't matter. I can take it or leave it.
Okay.
I'm just not a huge fan. I'm not anti cheese, but if somebody said, "Oh, we forgot the cheese," I'll be like, "It don't matter."
You know, lactose intolerance is wasted on people that enjoy stuff like that. And here you are up there, no lactose intolerance, and you don't even like it. You know,
You
there's no justice.
Life has its little mysteries, right?
Yeah, oh my goodness, that's just. But that's okay. That's okay. It's okay. Like I
I'm,
said,
I,
good taste.
I have met people that are pickier than me, but not many. I'm a pretty picky eater.
Now, Jenny calls me a picky eater a lot of times. My wife does. She calls me a picky eater, and I'm not. And I can prove she's a way pickier eater than I am. All I got to do is start cooking chicken and pork chops and steak and ribs and Boston butts. Of course, she's a vegetarian. She doesn't eat none of that, but that's because she's picky.
I have met people that they like everything. They
Yeah.
don't cold nothing.
I'm there, pretty much.
So if they mess their order up in a restaurant, they're like, "Okay, whatever." They'll eat it
Now,
anyway. They don't care.
I do have some lines I'm not crossing. The avocado line, I'm not crossing. I don't like it. I'm not eating it. I'm not eating those or them other things. What do they call them? Not avocado, but I don't know. But guacamole ain't happening. Avocados ain't happening. I ain't doing it. And for a long time, I wouldn't eat squash. But I did actually have some squash that was good one time, and since then I've fixed it that way, and I like it that way. The lightly sautéed. That was okay. So
I have changed on a couple things over the years. Like I used to would never eat fried green tomatoes, but I actually like them now.
oh yeah, with goat cheese. Oh, that's good.
Oh no goat cheese, man. Come on, I don't eat goat. Goat nothing.
Oh.
Tammy likes guacamole. I didn't know that.
Dude,
I
here in
learned
the South,
something out.
a big time barbecue tradition here in South Georgia. Now, at least in this area, is barbecue goat. And I'm gonna tell you something. That is the best barbecue if it's done right. There is.
I think I'm out.
You wouldn't even try it.
Probably not.
Why
I,
not?
I've got these little unwritten rules for me. If it smells bad, I don't eat it. If it looks bad, I don't eat it. And if it has a name in it that I don't like, I'm not eating it either. That's my 3 bedrock rules about eating.
The name in it that you don't like what?
Yeah, goat. I'm
What?
not.
Look,
Sorry,
I'm
man.
going to speak from being a butcher. Growing up, working. Barbecue. There we go. Cheese man barbecue.
Yeah.
There we go. Look here. Let me preach on this.
All right,
Being,
go
being
ahead.
a butcher, being a butcher, growing up working in a slaughterhouse. None of them smell good when they hit the door. It ain't what they smell like when they hit the door. It's what it smells like coming out the other side. Just saying.
That's like pickles, man. They stink, man, when they're being produced.
Mm,
I don't like them either. I don't like the taste either, but
mm. Oh, I got to talk to you.
I will say this though. I will say this. When I was going around the country and I was staying in people's homes and stuff, and they opened up their doors out of the Christian kindness of their heart as we were, speaking at churches and stuff. I knew that I was going to run into times where I would have to eat something that I didn't like because that was what was put in front of me by these wonderful people who opened their home up. And so I prayed a prayer. This was my prayer. Lord, help me not to vomit. Because if it's put in front of me, I'm going to at least eat some of everything that they put in front of me. And let me tell you, brother, there was a couple of times I was praying real hard, but I made it through with a smile on my face, and then I was just sick later, but I never did. Actually, no, I didn't get sick. The Lord just blessed me. I just couldn't do. I mean, there's certain things I don't like.
Well,
But
it
I
does
would
talk.
I wouldn't do them that way, and I prayed that, Lord, help me not to vomit. I'll keep it down. That I keep it down, and that's
Yeah.
what I did.
Well, don't they talk about in the Bible, everything's clean, blessed, and need it, and about not upsetting somebody by not eating what they've prepared.
Yeah, cheese man, we like the beef now. We're all down with the beef. Yeah,
Oh, look here, cheese man.
I'm a meat eater, man. I just don't like goat meat. Beef, yeah,
You like
beef.
pork
That's
chops?
what's for supper.
You like
Pork,
pork
yeah,
chops?
oh yeah, love them.
You know
Love
what
them.
a hog smells like? God promise you, a goat does not smell any worse than a hog.
I'm not out there
Mm-mm.
smelling the animal before it gets slaughtered, dude. I'm talking about what it smells like when you're cooking it and all that.
Oh no,
Come on,
goat
man.
don't smell like that.
I didn't
No,
mean to
no.
go. Well,
Okay,
I've never,
okay. I was confused.
I've never, I've never had goat being cooked in front of me. But you forgot one of my rules. It's not just the smell or what it looks like; it's the name. And I'm just not eating anything that says goat. I'm not doing it. It'd be like it's the same thing, other animals. And I don't want to offend anybody, so I don't want to name them. But it's been jokes made about it. I'm sorry, if that's in the name, I'm out.
Okay, I got to throw this one out for you. You'll like this. Yeah, he's not a big fan of veggie burgers, but he eats them. Oh,
Yeah,
I've ate
veggies.
them before, there, cheese man. But you're right, I'm not a huge fan. No. Uh, I've got a good goat story for you. Uh,
That's right, sister. I
that's
want the
right.
finished product too. I don't want to see
Uh,
the slaughter process. I just want to throw it on the
I've got
grill
to
or in the deep fryer.
I've got to tell you about this, but I got to do it in the right way. Okay, there's a person I know that is managing a market, a meat
Okay.
market, and I know him very well. Okay, do you know what a baby goat is called?
I don't remember.
A kid.
Okay, I do remember now. Okay,
Okay, they're called kids.
that's right.
So he's got an assistant manager, and this guy comes up to him and says, "I want a kid to barbecue, and on such a date, can you do that?" No. And so the guy walks away, and he goes up to this other market manager, and he tells him, says, "You know what that guy just asked for?" The market manager's like, "What?" He said, "He wants a kid to barbecue." Yeah, and the market manager's like, "So, well, do we need to call the sheriff?" He said, "Do you know what a baby goat is called?" What? He said, "A kid." Oh, and that's when the realization hit him. And just the fact he said, so no, he's not wanting to barbecue a child.
Here's your sign.
Yeah, here's your sign. I'm just glad he didn't come in and ask for a rump roast.
Oh man,
Right.
that reminds me. I don't know why it popped in my head. Our crazy minds. And for some reason, I was thinking of that Hulk Hogan when they had that reality show, and the Hulkster wants to impress all of his neighbors, and they're all Jewish. And so he just goes out and get a bunch of meat and throws it on the grill, and they're all over there talking to him about, is it kosher? And he's like, what?
What?
He totally ruined the meal. None of it's kosher. He's just totally messed it up. That voice of his, oh, I'm sorry, brother. I want to be a good neighbor, feed you, it's not
Sorry about that,
kosher.
brother.
Yeah, sorry about that, brother.
What you gonna do when Hulkamania cooks for you? You gonna eat it? Oh my lord!
I don't know if the story's true, but this goes back, golly, probably 50 years ago, maybe more. And it was a little restaurant in not far from where I live, and they had an all-you-can-eat night with fried chicken. And I wasn't there, but I've always heard the story that these bunch of pro football players came in. They heard about this place, and they come in, and it was the offensive and defensive linemen, so like the biggest eaters on the team. And they ate so much fried chicken that they had to ask them to leave. They said, "Come on, man, we're not full." They said, "You don't understand. We got nothing left. We're done. We have no more chicken to fry."
Oh, John Panetti, is that how you say his name? He's gone now, but he was a heavyset guy. He was a comedian, and I loved him. He was talking about going to eat at the Chinese buffet, and said the guy came out of the back and said, "You go home. You no come back here no more. You scare my wife." you know, Eat broccoli, eat a vegetable. Why spare rib? You so big. He was absolutely amazing, and that is where I want to be one day. You'll be here 4 hours.
Yeah, they started counting the cost.
Yeah, and he's the same one that talked about the water slide that he went to. When he finally got to the top and went down the water slide, and he said it had a little ramp at the bottom.
Yeah.
He said, and to the poor family that was walking across the bridge, I am so sorry.
Hey, we've got a dear brother. I'm not going to name his name. he might watch this. I'll let him admit to it or not admit to it or whatever. But You remember what was that one that was out near Target back in the day on Brainerd Road? Duff's Smorgasbord or one of them like that. I can't
Yeah.
remember the name of it. Anyway, he said if you'll take me and my mom out there, we'll buy you a meal. We just don't our cars down or whatever. We need a way out there. So I said, well, you don't have to do that. We'll go. And he said, no, I want to buy it. So I never seen this in my life. All you can eat now. And so he starts with the desserts. I've never seen that in my life. Like we're all coming back with meat and vegetables and stuff, salad, whatever. He shows up with a plate of sweets. I'm like, ain't you got that a little backwards, man? He goes, no, man, you get here first. You go the sweets, you get the best ones before they get all taken up. I guess it's like those sweet rolls at the pizza place, you know. So he eats a whole plate of sweets. He goes back and eats a whole nother plate of sweets. He goes back and eats a whole nother plate of sweets. And I'm not exaggerating. He goes back and eats a whole nother plate of sweets. And he says, now I'm ready for the food. So he goes back and he gets a plate of food. He eats that. He goes back and gets another plate. We're up to 6 plates now. I know where I'm at. So we decide to go over to Target, which was right next door at that time. It's not there anymore. I was like, man, this looks like it's going to be a while. We're just going to go ahead and do some shopping over here. Oh, yeah. So he ended up 8 total plates, 4 dessert, 4 regular. I saw him after we'd been shopping for a while. He come flying through the door. He had on a t-shirt, but he had on a button-up shirt, and it was kind of like a cape flying behind him as he come through the door. He was going so fast. I mean, trucking, headed for the bathroom. So he's gone for a while. He's going to kill me for telling this story. So we shopped some more. I remember buying an Atlanta Braves video or something, you know, while I was there. And anyway, finally he shows back up and he's got on the jeans and t-shirt. I said, where's the shirt, man? He said, well, I had a little accident. He had to throw the shirt away. To this day, I don't know how bad that experience was for anybody else that had to go to the restroom. But I imagine it would.
I asked. I just hope there was nobody in the stall next to him because I'm wondering what was going through their minds.
No, he wasn't Joey Chestnut. He can't eat like that no more, but he did. But I don't know if I should tell this part of it, but you said stall next door. It made me think I better leave that one alone. I'll tell you.
Leave that one alone. Let's not take that. Let's not go any further down that road.
It's not real bad, but it's probably more than I should say here. So
yeah.
Oh,
was it worse than the booby trap?
Oh yeah, much worse. So.
Okay, then we don't need to go there. All right.
I will say, Cheese Man, Joey Chestnut, I don't know how he does it. I mean, he's got some kind of metabolism or a bottomless stomach or something. I'm not into that kind of thing. It amazes me they can eat so many hot dogs or whatever they're eating, but it's really disgusting. I mean, they're just slamming that stuff in water and they're just swallowing it as whole as they can. It's squishing it up. It's disgusting. It just goes to show you, somebody will do whatever you ask them to do for money and fame.
Now,
they'll do it.
I do like oysters on the half shell. It's one of my favorite things.
I don't.
One of my favorite things. And I went to Apalachicola when I was a kid to the seafood festival down there. And they had an oyster eating contest. They had them in these cups. Cups. And they were basically drinking them. Oh. Now, I'm not doing that. I don't enjoy that. That does not appeal to me. I like my oyster on a cracker with some hot sauce. Now we're talking. That's good eating. Just to eat something, just to see if I can eat more than someone else can, or faster than somebody else can. No, I'm a fat guy. I like to enjoy my food. There's a
I,
reason why I'm fat.
I'm not really a seafood fan. I mean, I can eat a few things, but you'd be wasting your money spending buying me seafood. I'm just not a fan.
Mm.
I don't care for lobster and crab and all that stuff. I could eat a little fried shrimp,
I
deep fried
love
fish, but fries and some hush puppies. That's about it, man. I'm just not a. I'm not, and I'm not really a huge shrimp fan. I can eat it, but I don't want. I wouldn't want it every week. I'll say that. It's every once in a blue
Look,
moon, as they say.
I could eat shrimp every day, crab every day. Oh,
Well, let me
yeah.
ask you this: since you're a man of the world, or at least some parts of it, do you like gumbo?
I love gumbo. Oh yeah. Yes, sir. That's good eating. Like me some gumbo.
Okay.
I like crawdads too. I'll eat the tail, but I ain't sucking the head though. Sorry, all you real Cajuns out there. I'm from South Georgia. We ain't doing that. I,
I'm not doing it.
I'm not doing that. I'll eat the tail, but I ain't sucking it. Nope. And then them real Cajuns. And excuse me, let's put it out there. What they call? They call themselves coon aces, something like that. But that's real Cajuns, and they're out Nolans, Houma, all down in there. They'll do it. I ain't doing it. Mm-mm. I'll eat tail all day. I ain't doing that.
Well, cheese man, I've always heard it's Chicago, but when you get done there, you'll have to tell us which one because I've always heard Chicago has the best. So,
Yes.
by the way, what goes in gumbo?
Well, you can have. It depends on how do you make it. Seafood gumbo's got some shrimp. It's got some fish. Usually, it has some sausage, like andouille, which is nice Cajun sausage and good stuff. You can have chicken gumbo. It's got peppers. It's got onions. It's got okra. Whatever you want to put in there.
I'm gonna shock you, Robert. I know it's just shocking. I've never had gumbo.
I'm not gonna comment on that.
Never have.
Never. You probably wouldn't even try okra. You like
Fried
okra?
okra. It's fried okra.
Well, it ain't fried in no gumbo wood. It's good.
Depends on. I don't know. I don't know.
Mm.
I guess I've had some okra pieces in soups and stuff. I could probably be okay with it, but
Mm.
I don't know if I'd like it or not.
Have you ever had frog legs?
I did try that once. I didn't like the experience, and I would never do it again.
Have you ever had any tater or turtle soup?
That would be a big no. A big no.
What about squirrel dumplings?
Another big no.
What about fried quail or dove?
I do not think so.
Duck?
I've been to a couple of wild game dinners, but I stayed away from most of it.
You ever had duck?
Maybe.
Turkey?
Oh yeah, I've had turkey.
Okay. Well, you better hope the zombie apocalypse never hits. Mm. Dude,
Just,
you ever,
just,
I remember a funny not too long ago where you was talking about hamburger meat, deer meat, and you swapped the labels out and they was talking about how good it was.
I like deer meat.
I'd be swapping some labels out on you down here.
Have you ever been to a wild game dinner?
Yes.
I've been to a few. I think the gamiest I tried hippo.
Yeah.
I didn't care for it.
I
Too
think
chewy. Too chewy. Didn't like the hippo.
the ones that I went to were like wild game dinners, and like I've tried bear. I did not care for bear. I didn't like. I wanted to like it. I
I
just
think
didn't.
I've tried bear.
Wild boar, don't really care for. No, it's just
No.
too gamey. It's got too strong of a flavor. What some of the stuff that I did like that surprised me I really liked rattlesnake. It was good.
I had a little bit of rattlesnake. It's
It
okay.
was good. I liked it.
I did go against my rule. I mean, I don't like snakes, and the whole idea. I just told myself it was chicken and ate it. But it didn't taste like chicken to me. So,
Oh, no, I really, and then they had like the basic squirrel. They had
I'm not eating.
raccoon.
Yeah, squirrel. No, I'm not eating none of that. That's
Mm.
out. I'd have to be really starving.
So what you're saying is temporarily out until you get that hungry.
Well, I think that would be the same for all of us. If you get hungry enough, standards drop. You might vomit, but you're going to eat something.
Yeah. Yeah, I'll go along with that.
We might be sauteing some tree bark. I mean, I don't know. If it gets
Oh.
bad enough, I just pray it never does.
It's that bad. You come down here, we ain't eating no trees. We're not beavers. And we might eat some beavers, but we're not beavers. We're not eating no trees. Mm-mm. No, sir. You know, that, that just amazes me because down here, you see, my granddaddy's about as country and southern as they come. See, around the world was an Agsa.
Exaggeration. He said he wouldn't know. Is hippo illegal to eat?
There's
I don't know if it was or not. Somebody had a little bit where they'd been on a wild game hunt in Africa, and so I ate it. This has been a long time ago. I'll say a good 15, maybe even 20 years ago. But they had a couple of boys that would go to Africa and wild game hunt, and they came back with some stuff. So whether it was or not, I can't say. Maybe.
That's why I really don't like eating turkeys because I feel like I'm being cannibalistic. I couldn't eat hippo for the same reason. I'd feel like I was being cannibalistic, eating my own kind because I'm fat.
I'm going to tell you what, hippo's a lot faster than you are, though.
I didn't say I was fast. I said I'm fat.
Don't worry about Tues, man. We're not the best topping either.
Oh no,
you're fine, brother. Hey, we know how to figure it out here in the South. We make it sound like we spell it like it sounds, and don't you worry about that at all.
Cheese man, the only reason why half this stuff on here is spelled correctly is I've got spell check on my phone. And I'll go in there and hit the little mic button where I can talk to it and say my word that I'm trying to spell, and it tells me.
I had an old boy come up to me here about a couple of weeks ago, and he said, "Hey man, young guy," he said, "How do you spell Uber?" He was needing a ride. I said, "Uber." I thought he was joking at first, like he really didn't know. So I told him. He looked it up. Paid for the ride, but he didn't know. He did not know. I guess to him, he was thinking it sounded like or something. I don't know. But I mean, I'm not making fun. He just did not know how to spell Uber.
No.
So,
all right.
What is the word? What is the word that gives you fits that you always kind of need help on it with a spell check, and you think you should know it, but it always gives you a hard time? Can you think of one?
Anything that ends in ing.
I don't know what it is, but for some reason the word opportunity really throws me. I'll just be typing along and I'll look up and I'll be like, "Oh man, I misspelled that." It highlights it and it fixes it, but I don't know why. Too much going on in that word, I guess. Tammy says appreciate. Now that's another one. You get is it a single P, double P? You got the I and the A's and stuff going on. OR, U. It can be difficult.
It's like anything with ing. Do you add an N? or do you add a letter at the end of it to make it two, or do you leave the E, take the E away? I mean, anything. Oh, ballistic. That's a good one
Yeah.
too.
Yeah.
All
So,
right.
Robert, I'm assuming you didn't do good on spelling bees in school.
No, no. I spelled soap, SOPE, until the sixth grade. And why are you laughing at me? Spell hope.
Spell what?
Spell,
Hope.
spell it. Hope.
Hope.
Yeah.
HOPE.
HOPE. Spell it.
Yeah.
Hope is spelled SOPE. Spell dope. DOPE. Spell cope. COPE. You know, spell rope. ROPE. Now spell soap.
SOAP.
No, it says OPE. They got it wrong. Don't make me go Gallagher on you. Mm. Spell cone.
I can't believe you don't know how to. That soap will give you the hard time. Because I'm telling you, I know your mama probably washed your mouth out with soap a few times, or at least threatened you a bunch of times.
Oh yeah.
I'm amazed that that's
Well,
the
just
word.
because she says it, don't mean I know how to spell it. You know, come on now.
Come on,
She said a
man.
lot of big words. Like she was exasperated, and
Yeah, by the way, did your parent ever? Because they just made up a word. Did your parent ever come out with a word you never heard before? And you're like, is that really a word? If they say it is, but it's like they combined a couple of words, or they just made up a word on the fly, and you're like calling it out. Like, hey, I don't think that's a word.
yeah,
It's not a
yeah,
wise decision to call that out because you get in more trouble. But sometimes your parents will make up a word. You're like,
yeah,
wait a
they
minute,
would.
I don't think that's actually a word.
Yeah. And if they say it is a word and you're pretty sure it's not, ask them to spell it. That is death right there.
Yeah, they don't have to. They're parents.
You're gone.
It's
I
like
know.
the next words would be, "Oh, I'll spell it. I'm gonna spell it on your rear end."
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. I was an expert at getting her to spell stuff. Oh my goodness. What was it? My mom, I forget what she had said. She had said something and it was like way out of left field. I mean, she said it directed at me and it was totally a made up word. And she was trying to make it to where she was sounding sophisticated. And I said, Mama, that's not a word. She said, Oh, it's a word. And I said, Spell it. And even if it was a fake word, I wouldn't have known if she spelled it right, and she had to know it. But she spelled whatever it was she said. I said, You misspelled it.
Did you ever call out a teacher for being wrong about something?
Yeah, on this same thing. I said, You misspelled it. She said, What? I said, It's spelled IT. Oh, she come unglued. You know, it, spell it, IT. You get it?
I get it.
No. Oh, my mama had about the same reaction as you just had.
Geez, man, I think it'd be cool to have a 1938 old. So absolutely. Um, we had this teacher once, and bless her heart, I think she was nearing the end of her career, and we were in like a social studies class. And she's talking about, I don't know how this came up. I don't remember the context, but she was talking about bombs and stuff and war. And she said her son or grandson I think she said son was in the military. And they had this weapon called the 100-year bomb. And she said, well, they dropped this bomb. It keeps going off for 100 years. And you just had to see all the guys in the room like, and this is junior high. This is like 8th grade. And so finally, we're all sitting there like, come on, 100 years? I mean, it's not possible. So finally, one guy says, excuse me, miss, whatever her name was. No disrespect intended, but I don't think it's possible for a bomb to keep going off for 100 years. I'm just saying. Well, she got mad. Don't you tell me my son's a military expert and he told me there's a bomb that goes off for 100 years. You can't stop it. We looking at each other. That was the day we realized it was her last year at school. And sure enough, the next year she was retired. I don't know where she got that, but nobody in that class, there's always one or two teacher's pets that'll buy something just because they're a teacher's pet. Nobody bought this one. It was like everybody, they put their heads down like, we can't say any more because they realized she just didn't know what she's talking about. But they let her be ignorant with grace. They didn't. They just that's all they did.
I have a question.
This could be scary.
This is very scary. You remember? I don't know what the desks and stuff are like at school now. Yeah, we might be talking about you. Brother Earl. Why were the chairs and desks when we went to school made to where it was absolutely impossible to sneak out a toot? If you tried to sneak one out, it sounded like machine gun fire. What was up with that? And don't sit there laughing because I know what happened to you. I guarantee you it happened to Brother Hester there.
Cheese Man, yeah, the radiation part, yes, but she was talking about actual continual munitions going off. But yeah, you would have that, but
Metal box.
maybe in a video game.
Earl said metal box.
Yeah, metal box.
That's what the desks were. And it echoed. All those ones that were like the old wooden ones. And then they got worse. They made those plastic ones, the hard plastic seats that there's no way to sneak. And those hard chairs in the lunchroom. I mean, if you everything was to reverberate. It seems like they built these things to guarantee noise.
Robert, I just got to ask, do you not know you can raise your hand and ask to go to the restroom? I mean,
yeah.
Why are you trying to do that there? I mean, that's what bathrooms are for.
Trying to do that there. You're trying to hold it.
Well, because if
you're trying to hold in a tube, and you hold your hand up to ask to go to the restroom, you're not going to make it walking across the classroom to get out the door. It's coming. Oh, it still happens, Cheese Man. I believe it. That's it. I'm just saying. Of course, I'm just wondering out loud. I mean, this is Front Porch Talk. We talk about whatever we want to. I want to know why they make the desk that way. They do it on purpose.
Well, I don't think they make them that way anymore. I mean, I think they're different now, but they were in those days.
Uh-oh.
I bet I can.
Have a great night too.
Yeah, thanks for being with us. Even though you're ratting on me, I get you back.
It's all right. That's all right. We're going to talk about fires and garbage cans again.
Oh, roll tide. Yeah, that's 2 words to get you fired up. Earl throwing bombs here tonight.
Okay, let me ask this. Let me ask you this question there, Brother Hester. I'm going to ask you this, and what in Alabama it makes Roll Tide even a slogan for a football team? What? What? And what is your mascot? An elephant?
You remember the two old boys that would come, the suspenders, and they had the Tide box with the rolls of toilet paper on it on the stick?
Okay.
Roll Tide.
Oh, Roll Tide. I got you. I thought it might have this. No, Roll Tide does not make me angry. I'm going to be on.
Bye, cheese
The
man.
only time I get angry at Alabama has been when they've beaten Georgia, which has happened a lot over the last several years. All right. I think that's at an end now for a little while. Not saying, you know, how many times have I gone over to your house to watch that stupid game and be all hyped up about Georgia? Every time I've watched Georgia Alabama game at your house, Alabama has won. Was he saying bye to us or bye to Tammy? Oh,
I was saying bye to
okay.
Cheese Man.
Okay.
He's checking out. So, and my sister. I don't know why our chat is double putting double messages from us.
I can
Maybe
tell you one. It's going to
oh,
two
it's
different.
because it's going to different things, but it didn't throw the X up there. That's weird.
Yeah.
That's strange, but that's why. Maybe it just works different on the chat on that one. I was trying to figure it out. I thought, why in the world is doing that?
Yeah.
But
Just
Roll
saying.
Tide, yeah.
We can Roll Tide it, so I can handle that. I'm just tired of them beating
Or,
Georgia.
I'm just asking: are college football fans some of the most obnoxious people in the world for any team? I mean, you can find them,
No,
right?
no.
Some of them.
The most obnoxious fans. There are levels of this. I'm waiting for Brother Hester there to make a comment on that. Nothing but love. I know ain't nothing but love, but the most obnoxious, absolutely, without a doubt, the most. Not thank you, Tennessee fans. They're the worst.
Go Vols.
Hey,
Rocky
they're good
Top.
at something. They're good at something.
But every fan base has that same type. I mean, there may be more of them at certain schools, but every school has some, including Georgia. Oh my gosh, they're just obnoxious. Sorry, it's true.
Good night, Cheese Man. But what? I'm just going to say this: Tennessee fans are the absolute worst. I
Well,
love them. I love them. I love them because every game. Oh well, those refs were paid off. They called a horrible game. Oh, y'all were cheating. That's why y'all won. Oh, oh. There's always excuses. There's always excuses. Tennessee's going to be good this year, though. Pretty good.
yeah, they're gonna be better.
A little bit.
We give them their props. They won the baseball. There
Yeah.
you go.
Yeah.
I'm moving back to Tennessee and wearing my Bama stuff proudly.
Yeah. And I talked
Hey,
about me wearing my Georgia stuff proudly down in Statesboro the other day too.
there was a guy I knew once. Well, I think you knew him, Robert. I think you knew him. I think he was one of your coworkers
Uh,
down at the old food line. And he loved the Rams, and he went to Atlanta to see the Rams and the Falcons play, and he wore all of his Rams gear. And apparently those Falcon fans down there, they just rode him pretty hard the whole game, and he come back talking about how he would never go back, and they gave him a hard time, and it ruined his day. And if you're going to wear the other team's gear and you go into the other team's lair, you got to have some thick skin. You got
yeah.
to. You're going to hear it. I thought, what did you expect?
Yeah, no
That's
doubt.
just go to Philly, go to the Eagles, and wear the Giants colors or something, and see how quick that gets noticed.
I mean,
You gotta have.
be like going to the Georgia game and wearing your Tennessee jersey and sitting on the Georgia side and being
What?
that lone orange jersey in a sea of red.
Oh yeah.
Hmm.
Wasn't old Trestrell? Wasn't he your coworker?
Oh, well, we got to bring that name up.
Well,
I
just
love him, but yeah, that's been a long time ago.
it's a long time ago. I thought so.
Long
Yeah.
time ago.
Yeah, he didn't care for the Falcons fans. Of course, the Rams were a bitter rival of Atlanta for a long time because they were the same division. The Rams, the Saints,
Yeah.
which are still are, and who was that other team? San Francisco. They were all in the same division, and which was a real odd thing. Atlanta, San Francisco, L.A., New Orleans.
Yeah.
But that was back when the Falcons were horrible. They're not much better now, but they're a little bit better. So
Yeah. We'll see how they do this year. I'm going to try
Earl,
to watch this year.
Earl, if you moved to Tennessee, which area of Tennessee would you move to? There's, forgetting the Tennessee Vol stuff. Tennessee's a beautiful state. There's a lot of great places in Tennessee that I wouldn't mind living. I just couldn't handle the Tennessee stuff.
I know Earl does Sail Creek. Dude, that's surprising. I know you don't like tornadoes and stuff like that. I figured you'd move up to Knoxville right beside Neyland Stadium. Because there ain't going to be no touchdowns there. Oh.
Oh, man. It's getting deep.
Oh.
It's getting deep.
Love Tennessee. I got to get Mr. Pritchett on here so we could talk some Tennessee football with him.
Oh, yeah.
I'll get Cook on here so we
especially when it gets closer. And I have not been to tons of NFL games, but I've been to some. It's been a few years. And actually, the fans that we had the most fun with was the Saints fans. They'd be hollering, "Who dat going to beat you next week?" And I mean, they'd go on with you, and at the end of it, they'd laugh and cut up with you, and hey, we're just having fun. At least my experience was maybe, but they rowdy. They rowdy.
I got a challenge for us. We need to get somebody to represent all the SEC teams at one time on this show and talk about who's going to beat who.
Well, they're out there. We got to have some Okies and some Texans and A&Ms and
Vanderbilts,
Missouri. Got to get some Commodores.
Yeah, that would be awesome. I think that would be all kinds of fun.
I can get some of them. I can get some of them.
I can get some of them too. But you know what? We don't have to do all SEC. We could get all the Florida teams. What is there? 2?
Ain't more than that.
In Florida?
There's a bunch of Florida.
Florida and no, there's only one team in Florida. Yeah.
Oh, you got Florida State, Miami, Florida, South Florida University. There's a bunch of them.
Okay, so still one team. You like that, didn't you? It got FSU, Florida, Miami. We'll have to get Frank. We can get Frank on to talk about Miami.
Well, yeah, I can talk about Florida State. I like Florida State.
What?
Yeah.
I only like Florida State because of Bobby Bowden and Burt Reynolds. They used to have the Bobby Burt show.
I miss old Bobby Bowden.
Yeah. Did you ever see the Bobby and Burt show?
Yeah.
Yeah. That was some good stuff right there. That was way back in the day. And how many teams are there in Alabama?
There's quite a few. Jacksonville State University.
Yeah.
You got, of course, Bama. You got Auburn.
Yeah.
UAB. I mean, you could go on. There's a few more.
Yeah. So this could be. We may have to just go state by state.
Well, we could do that.
I mean.
Oh, that means we at Georgia. We have to bring in a Georgia Tech fan. Ugh. Rambling Rex.
There's only one team in Georgia.
The Yellow Jackets.
There's only one team in Georgia. When was the last time they beat Georgia?
A few years ago, it was that year they had that run at Wishbone going, man, and they just ran up and down the field, man. We didn't have an answer for it.
That was back in the 80s, maybe?
No, it was
No,
later than that. It was later than that.
Was it later than
2000. Oh yeah, yeah. Yeah,
that?
it's been a few. It's been a few years, but I remember that game. Oh, I remember it.
Oh, uh, oh. I'm sorry, I'm locked in on that picture now. My brother Hester had to send me that picture. He said he was sending me a text. Uh, he's hitting the lake in the morning. Is he already gone? Looks like he is.
Yeah, I think they're
Oh my
about all
goodness.
gone.
He hit the lake.
All of our rowdy friends have left us tonight,
Oh,
but it is getting a little later, so I
it
guess
is.
they hitting the bed.
Well, we're glad everybody joined us tonight. All you breadheads out there, we hope you've enjoyed it. I know we have too. And the Cornbread Nation.
By the way, Rob, there's the X running live, so that was successful. So
All right.
we got 3 of them running live right now. So YouTube, Facebook, and X.
Outstanding.
Soon to be more. Soon to be more.
Next week we'll have a lot more going.
So this is fun. I've enjoyed being on. Glad my sister could be on here. Cheese Man, Earl, thank you for being here. If anybody else was listening in, we thank you for watching on the Front Porch. We cover a wide range, school, all kinds of stuff. I liked what I like about the Front Porch. We talked about gumbo and all kinds of food. And
speaking of food, I gotta go get me some ice cream.
Yeah. You've done talked about it enough. You gotta go get some ice cream. You're gonna make me get some. Because I know there's some in there. I might wait till tomorrow. It's getting kind of late. I might not do it tonight.
Okay. Oh, I'm doing it tonight.
That's because you heard the jingle of the spoon and the bowl. Sometimes it's the sound that gets you more than the actual food itself. It's just that sound.
Yeah. It's like one of Pavlov's dog. You know, she's in there ringing the bell, and I'm like, oh, ice cream.
By the way, before we go, I got to say this. Have you ever had one of those nights you were working late and you hit, I don't know, if you go late enough, there's only a couple things open. Maybe it's Waffle House and the old Crystal.
Yeah.
And you think, I'm just going to get me some Crystals and I'm eating too late, but I'm going to come in. Everybody's going to be in the bed and I don't want to start jingling pans. So you come in and you slip in real quiet and you sit down and you start eating. Ain't it amazing how often they smell that and they start getting up going, hey, you got Crystals? Did you get me any? Man, it's like you can't slip in the door with something like that. I can tell you my granddaughter's got a nose that she wakes up. Or they hear the packaging. You know, some of the packaging is loud as everything. You're trying to be quiet, you know, and you're trying to
on purpose. You have to go back and get more.
Yeah, they do.
See, there again, the genius. My genius. My wife is a vegetarian. Now she'll tear my fries up, which is fine. Generally, I would rather have the other stuff than the fries anyway. So yeah, if I get fries and stuff like that, they gone.
So you have to think about it a little bit.
Yeah. But all right, everybody, we love y'all. We glad y'all watched us tonight. Hope you had a good time. Y'all like and follow, and over on YouTube, subscribe, and whatever else you do over there. I don't remember what else you do. Like and subscribe.
Yeah,
and
subscribe.
Guys, we're glad y'all joined us. And
absolutely. Tomorrow we've got the pet of the week. This is kittens tomorrow.
Yeah. No, it's cats.
Cats. Well, cats. Just, come on, man. You said they got kittens, so come on. we got cats with ARA. We got our veteran of the week tomorrow night at 8 p.m. The second fantasy football edition sports releases, and then Sunday morning we'll have our in the word before church on 10ish. That'll post. So these are things that'll happen throughout the weekend, and then we'll be getting back at it on Monday. Your morning stuff, and we'll get back in the lives, and we're hoping to have some interviews coming up. But thank you for taking the time to watch at least some of the stuff and pass it on. Tell others. We appreciate you very much.
Absolutely. God bless y'all, and we'll see you next time.
Have a happy Friday night and a great weekend.
Absolutely.
Salute.
Salute.